Chalo. From that figure, from triangle OAB, you will write cos theta value. Similarly, you will write tan theta value, which are represented in Roman number 1 and Roman number 2 here. Here, after Roman number 2, you wrote it as theta is equal to cos inverse of L by L plus delta, that is equal to tan inverse H by 2L. But the flare angle here is not theta, but the flare angle here is 2 theta. You need to remember this point very clearly. Flare angle is 2 theta. 2 theta means 2 cos inverse L by L plus delta, that is equal to 2 tan inverse H by 2L. Here L is length of the horn, del is permissible distance. The value of del is 0.2 lambda for E plane, 0.375 lambda for H plane. I repeat, del value is 0.2 lambda for E plane, del value is 0.375 lambda for H plane. I think you understood this. Again, from the same triangle OAB only, using Pythagoras theorem, side square plus side square is equal to hypotenuse square. We get this L square plus H square by 4 equal to L plus delta whole square. You'll write it in the form of A plus B whole square, A square plus B square plus 2AB. If del is very small, see, generally del is very less compared to your length. If del is 1 millimeter, del square will be 1 millimeter square, means it is 1 into 10 power minus 6. Del is 1 into 10 power minus 3, then del square will be 1 into 10 power minus 6. Then del square is further decreased, hence it can be neglected. Then H square by 4 equal to 2L delta. From that, L is equal to H square by 8 delta. H is equal to under root 8L delta. Now you will get a doubt that, sir, why flare angle should be exactly equal to 2 theta only? What happens if it is greater than 2 theta? And what happens if it is less than 2 theta? Let us see those cases. See, the main purpose of using horn antenna is to increase the directivity and to produce uniform plane waves. I repeat, to produce uniform plane waves. See, we know that directivity is related to effective area. Directivity is directly proportional to effective area. Do you agree with that? If the angle is less than 2 theta, I repeat, if the flare angle is less than 2 theta, flare angle is less means indirectly area is less. If area is less, what happens to directivity? Then directivity also decreases. Hence, for an angle less than 2 theta, directivity is poor. Hence, this case is not considered. Next case, if the angle is greater than 2 theta, see, if the angle is greater than 2 theta, area increases. Now you will get a doubt, sir, as if area increases, then directivity also should increase. Yes, it will also increase, but concentrate on what I am saying. If the flare angle is more, now the wave will propagate in its own fashion. It will not go in proper order. It will go via reflections, via refractions, as if it likes. Okay. If it goes in that manner, can we produce uniform plane waves? No. This is also one of the drawback. Hence, angle greater than 2 theta is also not supporting this case. Once again, I repeat this point. If angle is greater than 2 theta, effective area increases, but the waves will move in curvy fashion. The waves will move in curvy fashion. Okay. See here, it is written, if the flare angle is selected greater than 2 theta, then effective area will be larger. The phase front will be curved in nature. Got this? Hence, the flare angle should be exactly 2 theta only. Then only uniform plane waves will be produced and directivity will increase. Understood this point? Understood, ma? Are you following?
Yes, sir.
I once again repeat, if the flare angle is less than 2 theta, effective area is less, hence directivity is less. Case 2, if the flare angle is selected greater than 2 theta, effective area will be larger, but the phase front will be curved in nature. If the flare angle is equal to 2 theta, then uniform plane waves will be produced, hence directivity will increase. Now I'm calculating directivity of horn antenna. See, we know that directivity is equal to 4 pi by lambda square into AE. AE can be written as eta into AP. Here it is written as epsilon into AP. Here I am considering it as eta into AP. Eta is nothing but some efficiency. That efficiency is called illumination efficiency. Illumination efficiency for horn antenna is 60%. That's nothing but 0.6. Then I can put AE is equal to 0.6 into AP. Now see the last but one line in the derivation. You can see 4 pi by lambda square. Instead of AE, I am writing eta into AP. Eta means 60%, 0.6. AP, I am writing it as AP. Then if you multiply this, you will get it as 7.5 AP by lambda square. If any problem is asked on gain or directivity of horn antenna, then you need to write it as 7.5 A by lambda square. I repeat, 7.5 A by lambda square. In some cases, A will be given or else he will give the diameter. In any case, A should be equal to pi r square if radius is considered, or pi d square by 4 if diameter is considered. Always you need to write A as area of circle only, pi r square. Understood? If radius is given, you need to substitute pi r square. If diameter is given, you need to substitute pi d square by 4 instead of capital A. Last but not the least, Fermat's principle. See, I have considered a lens which is represented as a reverse D. That's nothing but a transmitting lens. O is the focus point. Okay. At that point O, I have placed a horn antenna. Horn antenna is radiating waves. The waves are falling on the lens. See, these waves are going in different directions from point O to lens. Okay, that beam is called as divergent beam. After crossing the lens, how are all these waves moving in uniform fashion? They are parallel to each other. Can you see that? Using this horn antenna, the output is looking like uniform plane waves which are parallel in nature. Here if you see, AZ is the lens. AZ is the lens. If you see here, OAA dash, it can be written as OA plus AA dash. Next, second ray, OBB dash, that can be written as OB plus BB dash. Similarly, last line, OZZ dash, that can be written as OZ plus ZZ dash. See what I am saying here, OA dash or OBB dash or OCC dash, anything. These are all called as path lengths. Whatever may be the incidence point, all these path lengths will be equal. LENGTHS, I am calling it as path length. OAA dash is one path length, OBB dash is another path length. Similarly, likewise, OZZ dash is also a path length. All these path lengths are equal irrespective of their incidence on the lens. Got this? This principle in which all the path lengths are equal is called as Fermat's principle. Understood, ma? Now this
Yes,
is the end of unit 2. Okay. Did you understand, or is there anything which I need to explain here?
No, sir.
See, did I reach your expectations?
Yes, sir.
Sure, huh?
Yes, sir. Sure.
Okay, ma. Stop the recording.
Okay, sir.
Vamshi, send it to me. Okay.
Okay, sir.